Cairo is currently at the heart of a historic and deeply symbolic continental gathering from November 17 to 23, 2025. Egypt is hosting the 5th African Union Awareness Week on the post-conflict reconstruction and development under the inspiring theme, Rebuilding Lives After Conflict Through Restorative Justice. This event cements Cairo's role as a central pillar in Africa's recovery journey. President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi, acting in his capacity as the AU champion for post-conflict reconstruction and development, delivered a powerful launch statement emphasizing the complex security and developmental challenges currently confronting the continent. He pointed to internal complex terrorism, transnational crime, humanitarian crises, and poverty, highlighting how these are exacerbated by climate change and misused advanced technologies. The president also warned that global geopolitical polarization is deepening Africa's vulnerabilities and jeopardizing efforts to realize the Agenda 2063 vision of a stable, prosperous continent. Despite such significant challenges, President el-Sisi underscored Africa's abundant resources and immense human capital that, when mobilized correctly, can drive sustainable peace and development. President el-Sisi called for a strong Pan-African solidarity and a more holistic approach rooted in national ownership, institutional strengthening, capacity building, and inclusive development, especially involving youth and women. Head of the state also highlighted the central importance of justice for conflict victims. He referenced October 5th as one forum for sustainable peace and development as a key component of Egypt's strategy to link peace, security, and development. Moreover, President el-Sisi praised the African Union Center for Post-Conflict Reconstruction and Development in Cairo. Under its guidance, the center has carried out reconstruction and capacity building programs across multiple African countries. It's worth mentioning that the AU PCRD Week, first launched in 2021, has become a critical platform for galvanizing political will, raising public awareness, and mobilizing financial and technical support for recovery efforts. Hosted in Cairo, it serves as the AU's flagship institution for designing and implementing reconstruction programs, focusing on restoring institutions, training cadres, and supporting national recovery strategies.
Dr. Nakhla, well, speaking about Egypt's efforts in Africa, it has been a lot since we did build on the fruits of chairing the African Union, that great year for Egypt. From that, hosting this important week, we're talking about post-conflict reconstruction and achieving development for Africa. This is Egypt working on the Africa that we aspire, that is a peaceful Africa and a flourishing Africa that is working for mainly development and peace.
It's true. This year also marks a very special year for Egypt, sharing the Africa Free Continental Trade Agreement, the AFCFTA. So we are Africans. Africa is our continent. And hosting this week, very important week on the land of peace in Egypt is very remarkable. The political will of Egypt and the policy taken, friendship and hosting of everyone, and collaboration and a lot of communication between all the 54 countries in Africa. This gives Egypt a big hand in and remarkable place. That's why we had this week on our land. Very significant, building the relationships, building the capacity, and rebuilding our continent after all challenges that we've faced. Also, we saw remarkably no one is left behind, like the vision of Africa 2063 and our vision Egypt 2030. No one is left behind. So in this conference we saw that they were talking about the SMEs, They were talking about the social, the people on the ground. They were talking about not only policy making, but also capacity building and job creation and rebuilding our countries and our continent.
Yes.
So very fruitful.
Yes, very fruitful and very significant. The reading into the theme itself, you find that we are talking about rebuilding lives, mainly after conflict, through justice. And this is Egypt's vision, actually, for Africa and for the African people.
It's true. And we saw a lot of reforms, a lot of policy, a lot of things taking place in Egypt inside, and now we are a role model to the rest of our continent. Yeah. The theme is very special, rebuilding, and it's true, we are also supporting a lot of African countries in our continent in the rebuilding and in the capacity building and in the reforming. So it is true, very significant and very important meeting, and as we saw in the report also, it came after the Aswan meeting, which took place last week. Also Egypt is hosted on September. Egypt hosted another very successful event, which is the High Council Ministerial Meeting of all trade ministers of Africa on our land. And we saw that it's, as usual, very successful outcomes. A lot of rule of origin, a lot of talks, a lot of negotiations and approvals took place in Egypt during the last couple of months, and during this week, very special African week for our heart.
Yes, it is a very special African week, and it's a continuation of Egypt's efforts for Africa. Egypt is very much aware, Dr. Nevine, and this is, we find this in meetings between His Excellency President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi and the African leaders, that Egypt is aspiring a lot for Africa. Egypt is aware of the African challenges, but what is quite interesting that such weeks put to the table is how to transform those challenges into opportunities for Africa. How hand in hand we can be able to reach the Africa that we all aspire.
Yeah. First of all, to have a sustainable development and sustainability in our continent, you have the three pillars of economic and social and environmental. And we saw, for example, our new plant for clean and diversified energy, like we saw in the report today for the Daba'a. This is another role model for all Africa of how to diversify our peaceful energy and to rely on self-sufficient. Also, a lot of combined projects taking place between different countries by Egypt. We saw successfully the opening of the Nyeri Dam in Tanzania, for example, by a consortium of Egyptian construction companies. We saw a lot of energy projects taking place in Africa by Egyptian hands. The thing that is very remarkable, when Egypt rebuilds, or when Egypt goes into any project in any other neighbor country in our continent, we do not bring our workers from Egypt to this country. On the contrary, we transfer knowledge, we transfer technicality and a lot of capacity building. Like what happened in our own land in Decent Life Initiative. We saw that in the villages of Decent Life Initiative in Egypt, the youth in each village were trained, and capacity building, a lot of training, a lot of transforming of knowledge a lot of education, a lot of capacity building that made them work back in their villages. We saw the fiber optics, for example, the digital transformation. So this is our strategy inside and even outside in our continent. So, for example, the Nyeri Dam, 12,000 workers, Tanzanians, were working in this dam. We did not move our people to work there, but we moved just a little bit of capacity building and knowledge transfer. And this is the dream of Africa. This is the dream of the AFCFTA, of the African Free Continental Trade Agreement. One market and one Africa.
Yes.
With one, now even with the PAPS, the Pan-African Payment System, we are going to trade together with local currency. We will not need a foreign currency in between our continents. Also the free movement of people, like the free movement of goods, like the free movement of service. So really, I don't think we will wait till the Vision 2063 for Africa to be the one market, the one union, real union. We are moving very fast and with very high awareness. The African leaders are all very educated, very prominent, and very loving their countries and aware of the strength of the unity. We are the biggest, for example, the AFCFTA, the African Free Continental Trade Agreement, is the biggest trade agreement in the world. Because of the number of people, 1.4 trillion population, and the number of countries.
Yes.
So,
yeah, the President is always reaffirming, Dr. Nakhla, that we're not looking to Africa as a conflict area or as a land of crises, but rather as a continent that has unparalleled opportunities. What is important is that we would seize those opportunities. We would work on the strong points and the strong resources in Africa. And among the strong resources, since you've mentioned the youth and mentioned capacity building, is of course the human capital. So how are we working on Africa's human capital? And this is a very important file.
This is a very important file, really.
Yes.
Because we are the food basket of the world. Our continent has the best two resources in the world. We have the natural resources and we have the human resources. Our median age of all the African countries, median age is around 24 years old. Young population, young youth, health, education and capacity building is our strength and is our real resources to put Africa in its right positioning among the world. So I think now everyone is not only talking, and all the agreements that is taking place is not ink on paper. A lot of implementation, a lot of very strong actions taken place. For example, we saw that you can trade with any country with zero tariff, completely zero tariff for 90% of each country's products.
Yes.
As level A. We saw that a lot of cooperation between a lot of universities. We have even in Egypt a lot of Africans, especially the Arab-speaking in Al-Azhar and in technology universities. Also, we saw a lot of Egyptians moving and working and cooperating in other African countries. So capacity building and our youth is our main resource, besides what God gave us with natural resources. Now Africa is very aware, the 54 countries are very aware of industrialization And a lot of commodities now are not allowed to be exported as commodities and as raw materials. And each country now is very much aware that they don't lose their products as raw materials, and the value chain, the supply chain, and the added value. Each country is adding value to its products. We saw, for example, in Egypt, we have a lot of added value to our natural resources. Yes. We saw in Gambia, for example, the wood in every country. If we name each and every country, yes, Ghana, the textiles, each and every country, they have even the cocoa now. The cocoa, it is not allowed to be exported as raw material. It has to be with an added value before exporting and trading. So all this is really making a full ecosystem and a full development, real development to our continent.
Yes, definitely. And Egypt has always voiced itself as a cornerstone for African stability, as a voice for cooperative solutions. Our foreign policy did actually help reinforce African solidarity, and you've talked about the agenda of 2063, a very ambitious agenda actually. What are the expectations, and how can Egypt's continued diplomacy serve the goals of the agenda of 2063?
Egypt is working with a very strategic vision, very strategically and very steady and very visionary. We saw that His Excellency, the Minister of Trade, just came back from the G20 South Africa, and we know that His Excellency, our Prime Minister, is going tomorrow for South Africa for the G20. Any big event or conference, or we are leading, and we are there, and we are aware, and we are doing a lot. Egypt is doing, like you said, a very big cornerstone for collaboration and peace. And if you attend the national days of each and every African country on our land, and you hear about what Egypt did to each and every country with real peaceful and strategic cooperation, with no hidden agenda, with no very clear and very transparent. We are really believe that we are one, and believe that our unity is our strength. So we are doing our best, very steadily and very visionary, and we are the Egyptian land that is welcoming all our neighbors and all our other neighbors and countries to exchange knowledge, exchange products, exchange services, and not only give, but give and take. So we learn also a lot from our neighbor countries, and a lot of very nice, respectable role models in our continent.
Definitely, and Egypt is doing a lot. Egypt is committed to peace building, particularly its efforts to end conflicts and to promote reconstruction in Africa. Egypt is considered to be the cornerstone of continental diplomacy and the trusted mediator capable of transforming those moments of crisis into opportunities. And well, actually, in today's edition we have discussed extensive contributions of Egypt to Africa. I thank you so much, Professor Dr. Nevine Nakhla, Professor of Business Administration, for your very valuable input tonight.
Thank you very much, and I'm very honored to be with you today. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Nakhla, and many thanks to you, our dear viewers. That was Wednesday Debate Live, and I'm Tagherit Hussein, thanking you all for watching.